This happened 1 week ago. My art teacher Julia brought home a painting from an antique store. It was a picture of a young child in Victorian nightgown, crying and holding a candle. The painting was beautiful, but something about it was unsettling. That night, Julia and her husband Mark were awoken in their guest room by what sounded like a child crying. At first, they thought it was a dream, but then the crying came from the frame. Startled, they sat up in bed and saw the painting of the girl in the candlelight. And as they watched, the painting began to change. The girl in the painting was now an old woman, and she was furious. Her eyes burned with hatred, and she began to scream at them. "Get me out of here, you monsters! I want to die!" Julia and Mark screamed back, but their voices echoed in the room, and the painting began to glow brighter and brighter. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the screaming stopped. The painting went black, and the couple was left in total darkness. They stayed in the guest room for the rest of the week, too afraid to go anywhere near the painting. But each day the child in the painting looked older and angrier, until finally on the 7th day, the painting changed again. This time, the girl was an adult, a young woman in her early 20s, still wearing the Victorian nightgown. But now she had chains wrapped around her wrists and ankles. She looked at Julia with pure hatred and screamed, "You did this to me. You'll never escape me." Then she lunged out of the painting and dragged Julia inside. Mark was awoken in the middle of the night by chains dragging metal moans. He got out of bed and went to the guest room where he found Julia's journal and began to read. Apparently, the painting had been in Julia's family for generations, passed down from mother to daughter. Each daughter was told the same story about the painting. It was cursed and would drive anyone who owned it insane. But Julia, being an artist, wanted to see for herself. After reading the whole journal, Mark felt a cold presence behind him, and he turned around to see the girl from the painting standing behind him. But she wasn't alone. Behind her stood Julia, or rather, what was left of her. Her face had aged dramatically, and she had the same chains on her wrists and ankles that the girl in the painting had. And they both looked at Mark and smiled, a sinister, evil smile. The painting isn't just cursed, Mark realized. It's a portal that brings whatever horrors are inside into our world. And there's only one way to stop it. He grabbed a candle and held it up to the painting, reflecting the flames in its surface. "Get out," he whispered, his voice echoing in the darkness. "Get out, you monsters."